Hello, everybody. It's Sherry St. Marie, and today I'm going to do something really cool with you. One of the things I love about eXp, about my abilities as just a regular person, and the other talents that I use are the fact that we can broadcast, right? We can do this from almost anywhere. And I'm with a brokerage that we are known for education and we are known for technology and a different total ability, structure, and style than other brokerages. So I am going to step up a little bolder today. I am going to show you several things about our two brokerages, because you might not realize we have two brokerages that are under the umbrella of eXp World Holdings, and I'll tell you about that. But mostly, I want to wake up several people, and I want to be able to teach and share and show both the opportunities, the ability for you as a possible prospect customer who'd like to be a client. And I'm going to show you why we've got a pretty cool, unique, wonderful opportunity in our brokerages. I also want to show particularly, hello, eXp Realty agents. I'm shouting for you today because I'm going to teach you something that probably nobody has taught you and can be an amazing additional revenue source for you if you would like to. You have to be a little skilled at it, but what's cool about our brokerage or us helping each other be successful, right, is that we can teach and share and help each other do that. That's what we're known for. So I'm going to do that. But the other super cool thing is whether I'm being my own self, not in the brand of eXp, or I am, we are global. We have the ability to be global. This right here lets access happen for all around the world. And what's cool is that we can learn, we can listen, we can pay attention. If you're just interested in real estate, I'm happy to give you so much free education because I want you to be able to think and react and do what you want to do in your life. But I'm going to back up for anybody who may not know me or be familiar with me. I have been in real estate and was an independent broker in Middleton, Wisconsin since 2003. So I spent about 17 years in Middleton, Wisconsin after being laid off from teaching marketing education and had a master's in adult education. I raised my three kids who are now adults and doing super cool things in the world from juggling from home. So I have never gone to a real estate office ever in my lifetime. So when EXP started coming around and I'm hearing about it, I'm thinking, well, I mean, I'm used to the remote already. That's like all I call that is just working out of my house. I've done that forever and juggled the kids and got all the stuff done and whatever. But my last child went to college and I was like, what in the world am I going to do with myself? Like, I don't know. Am I staying here in Middleton? Am I going somewhere different? And a friend introduced me to EXP. I knew the physical businesses of brokerage were going away. I knew my own self. I needed the technology. I just intuitively knew that's the piece that I am strong on these other things. I'm not as good at the technology. And I took a leap in September of 2019 and joined eXp Realty. When I did that, I just knew I wanted a brand that I could work anywhere in the world. And mind you, Midwest moms don't move away. Typically, that's kind of the culture. I started working in 2019 by trips and things and stuff happening. By 21, I already had a place in Naples, Florida, and in Wisconsin while I'm running all three of my kids through college, building up a business, flying back and forth until a business owner client of mine said, we don't really like who you're working with, Sherry. Fire him. Get your own broker license down here also, because we can work through our brokerage without having to be the full licensee at a certain place. So we have an amazing ability within our brokerage, and I'll share a little bit about that, in that we don't get on that telephone like the rest of you. When I'm down here in Naples and I go back and forth and whatever, I've had other brokerages call me and say, oh gosh, if you want to work somewhere in Wisconsin or get a client or refer somebody, we'll call up there to Wisconsin and say, hey, do you have anybody that could, Sherry could send somebody up there for an agent? You know what I do instead? I don't get on my phone this way. I get on my phone this way because we have something called workplace chat, workplace workplace. And so I can get on to 90,000 agents all around the world with just a quick, I need somebody in another country, send a little note, right? Super simple. Most people can't do that. And so my accidental fallings upon EXP have worked out very nicely for me. I share that with you because here's the part you just need to understand a little bit of my background. So I was back and forth, back and forth. I am now mostly full time in Naples, but I fly to wherever I need to be going. In 2021, also, I met my business partner who is not in EXP. He is actually Dieter Hubel, who is German and also in Cape Coral, Florida. So he and I started talking about business. We both have a background of I've been construction for a long time. He's an engineer. He's incredibly intelligent, very logical, been an expert witness for bridges in governmental court reports and things like that, all kinds of stuff. And we started talking about the ability to do real estate, and we thought it was going to be here. I share this with you because watch what happens when you have opportunities and bigger abilities to do things. So he and I started talking. We thought we would be doing a local build here in Southwest Florida. And what ended up happening is because we were instantly already global, because he and I are not in the same country. And then we are. So we fly together to do business, but so much technology. We just do this via Zoom, via WhatsApp, whatever we've got to do. And it has now gone to all kinds of different projects of development being interested, us helping people find funding for certain projects in particular areas that have to do with humanity and advance and things that interest us that are spicy and interesting. And I never would have guessed that had I stayed being my own little independent mom in Middleton, Wisconsin with my brokerage. So I open your eyes, the public and people are already agents and our agents to this is what I want to do now. I want to tell you, if you don't already know, we have two brokerages. So we have eXp Realty, which was the original that was opened by our founder, Glenn Sanford. And then that we also eventually opened eXp Commercial. To not confuse you, this is the cool thing. If you know anybody who's eXp Realty, they can help you in residential or commercial, whether they themselves can or they come into the company, right? With 90,000 of us who's the best agent for this or that, and what should we do to help this person, right? To serve the public. That is what we do, and we take it very seriously. And they also opened a division of eXp Commercial so that it's distinctive, right? So that division, you would think, just does commercial. It does the vast bulk of commercial. However, those commercial advisors are allowed to sell residential if they want to. eXp Realty agents, listen, it's one license, so that's the thing. It's a matter of competence and being prepared and doing a good job, right? So primarily we're residential on the eXp Realty. However, with permission from a state broker or higher, eXp Realty people can be approved to also actively work in commercial real estate. There are not a lot of other brokerages who let you do that. I want to point out several things. You always hear from us about, our rev share, our cap, how company dollar. That's what everybody shouts about. This little brain right here I'm not a little brain, let me tell you. And everybody said, I jokingly call myself Nemo, and everyone's like, you're so not a Nemo. Here's the insight and things I want to share with the public, whether you are already an agent with us or you are a consumer looking for a great company to build your business, sell this, buy that. You want a luxury hotel? You want to build something that's never been built before? Well, we got some people that could help with that, right? Whether it is on the buy, the investment, the whatever. That's really fun and cool. And I say this to you because I didn't think I'd ever get along into this part of it, right? And there's pieces that I do and do not like to do. So I'll share all of that. For myself, I have chosen, and here's the part that came cool. So I'm going to be the woman who constantly shouts out to you of one of the coolest things about our brokerages are what we are allowed to do that I don't know another brokerage that allows their agents to do this stuff. Here's the thing. They are huge on agent centric and they don't just say it, they demonstrate it. Okay. So you might be able with your brokerage to get profit sharing, which is different than revenue sharing. And I won't go into that in this video. You also might be in a situation where, geez, do they maybe don't care if you work a little side job or something. eXp actively allows, teaches, promotes, lets us have multiple streams of income with them and outside of them, because they are wanting us to be productive, happy, healthy agents who are doing well in all capacities of their lives, do better for our customers and our clients. And so that was pretty smart on their behalf. And these are the things that a lot of people don't always think about. So I want to bring them up to you. What I want to do today is open your mind about you as an eXp Realty agent can earn a revenue stream area that maybe nobody's ever talked to you about. And that's pretty exciting for me to be able to be a voice and a bridge between eXp Realty and eXp Commercial, because I've spent over the last year going back and forth and learning so much and meeting the different advisors on commercial. All these agents, of course, I knew, and I'm meeting more on the realty side, seeing the opportunities of, oh my gosh, sometimes they don't like each other, commercial and realty. And I don't mean within our brokerage, I just mean as a general, right? And let me tell you why. And I understand. I got to lighten this up for us a little bit, but then I'm going to intrigue you on your opportunities and how you can do some of these things. So you just got two different personality styles. I'm going to put the screen like this, like try to pretend this picture, right? And this picture. So this one's I'm going to go this way. This one's a business people on commercial, and they'll go, we are just business. We are just logical. We are just numbers. We are just lawyers. We are just, shh. And you realty people are all drama, 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 drama. Peep, Okay, I did that a little obnoxiously on purpose. Let me share some things that I can help you with, because I have different insights and I bridge back and forth and I help them both. Yes, you are. Oops, you are wonderfully logical. It is much more business, because you're dealing with bigger contracts, bigger deals. What's all the inventory I'm getting in that luxury hotel? What is yes. However, if you are so business and non-emotionally available that you do not understand where this part of the JV is falling apart, and you can't help circle back without being a hammer to try to circle back, you might need a little of the emotional intelligence of some of the realty people, right? And could we use some of their skills? Absolutely. This is what makes things good. So I point that out to you to be able to show you there's lots of things that we need in collaboration that are better for the client, that are better for the team of people that are working together, that we can learn from each other, which is something pretty cool. I chose to stay on the realty side. So I chose to not transfer over 100% to commercial. Most people, if they really are going to get into commercial, they're going to transfer over. And that is what's really preferred, because then you're putting all of your effort that way, right? Again, you can do the occasional residentials you like to, but the focus is commercial. I chose because I have 20 some years into it. I have so many designations and certifications from the National Realtors Association. I have so many clients that are on residential, and I still also love home. So I love both sides and both pieces. I've chosen to stay on residential. And as I said in the write-up, I was approved very fortunately by our president of eXp Commercial to be able to do commercial work. And he's very aware of how I kind of set up my team and what I am doing, and that I'm incredibly careful and good with it, and have the resources and the wherewithal to be able to do that. So that part is very cool. But again, it is the agents within eXp are allowed to create your business, design your business, right? As long as it's following along with the brokerage rules, we're good. So this is what I want to go into. So let's say that you are an eXp Realty agent. You already are sitting in the room. You're already in the room of real estate. It's a big thing I want to catch you from first. You're already there. You're already hearing the conversations. A lot of people will argue with me and go, oh, well, that's commercial. They meet in different places. No, the same business people are at the chamber And some of them are commercial and some of them are residential, right? Some of them is Aunt Bob, Bob, and he is telling me about his uncle that's such and such, and they have a this they're going to sell, and it's commercial. And what realty people do is they go, oh, well, that's nice, not, polite, do the family friendly thing. They don't think about, oh, would you like some assistance in finding a great advisor for you to sell that for you? Because their mind is shut that they don't go down that door. They don't open that door. If we would think about it, realty people, you can do the exact same skills you're doing of listening, getting information, checking do they need assistance, come back to the company, right? Come back to myself who's spent tons of time meeting these commercial advisors all over the globe. Who would be a good fit for this if you need that assistance? Or you may know somebody, or you may get encouraged from this live to start meeting your own commercial advisors that you can either refer to, and I'll get into details, or get more involved if you'd like to. So the first thing I want to do is to encourage you to listen and pay attention and use your same connection tools and networking ability to open your mind a little bit more about seeing who you may be able to help or assist that's in the commercial realm. Okay. Then what's going to happen, of course, is that the commercial advisor, if you do not want to have any part of working with them, you can just refer. So you could come back to the company, come back to workplace, come back to a source you trust, because it's good to know somebody on both sides of the business, let me tell you, and get a referral to an agent that would be a right good fit for that thing. It can be as simple as you complete the referral form for the person who needs the assistance and give it to that agent, and you're paid a referral fee. You've left that on the table all these years if you haven't had your mind and your ears open. If you didn't want to, totally fine. We're not going to make you do that, right? But what I want you to understand is you could so easily be doing that. You can also transfer to the commercial side and just do referrals and not actively be involved in business. There's not a whole lot of brokerages that let you do the things I'm pointing out to you today. The other thing you can do, and this is very important to me that you understand, you might be told by any commercial agent in our company, eXp Commercial, or some other brokerage, which whatever another brokerage is doing, we can politely listen, but it doesn't matter because we only do what we do within our brokerage, right? They may say to you, oh, you have to refer that to me. You don't. You don't necessarily. So you do have an option if you would like to get permission, get yourself educated, have a mentor on your first 3 transactions as a minimum to perhaps participate in that piece, and a broker would approve you or a hire to do that, right? Depending on what is the situation and how do you plan to handle yourself, right? Because we want to make sure that we're really good and competent for those clients and customers that we're serving. So you could decide you would like to partner with an eXp commercial agent. I'll get into their side of whether they want to work with us or not. You could decide, I want to collaborate. I collaborate, and I'll explain to you what I mean by that. Or you could be much more actively involved in doing something much more in depth, like a joint venture, all these different styles of how you are involved. And then, of course, the amount of talent, effort, resources, and money you would be paid are negotiable between who you are doing business with. That agent, if you need one on the other side, that's commercial, or that client, right? We all know that. You're going to make these decisions. Those things that I just said in the last 5 minutes were to open your mind about the possibility that you have for additional revenue streams, ways to help people, and something that may also interest you. Like, I've been in the career over 20 years. I've done all kinds of different things over those years. And this is a new challenge place for me. And I find it very fun and interesting, but I only choose to do certain pieces and parts of it. And I've chosen to do it with different teams, depending on what it is that we're working on. Now let's go to the commercial side. So this is the commercial eXp agent. They of course don't have to work with anybody if they don't want to. If they don't want to be a mentor, they should not. For sure. We only want really good mentors. If they do not want to work with a realty agent, they do not have to. And we understand. And believe me, we, the realty people, don't want to work with you if you don't want to work with us, because that is no good. So they do get to decide. However, I will tell you, as I have gone back and forth as the bridge between our brokerage, and I'm fortunate, so fortunate that I can just go back and forth because I'm a part of the team, right? It's an amazing position to be able to be in. What I find is that there are two things. There are eXp commercial agents that absolutely want to do their own thing, totally respect it. It's where they do the best. It's their style. It's their whatever. That is great. There is one or two who have figured out, gosh, I can increase my revenue stream by being nice to the realty people and teaching them a little bit about what a commercial's like. Teaching them a little bit how to hunt and fish for some referrals or collaborations or things we could do together to get some deals done and help some really good people. There are some who even market wide open to the realty people of, I'll take your referrals. I'm happy to help you. What do we need to do? Right? And then there's the others who are just really good and open of, if you have something, contact me and we'll talk about it and see what we can do. I'm happy to work with a realty agent, right? All of these things are a possibility that can be more revenue for the commercial agent and for the realty if they want to work in commercial or just refer it on. And here's the things that happen. So I'm going to tell you a couple stories now of just things. And the first reaction, because I've been in lots of classes, lots of lives, if you have been in real estate longer than about 2 minutes, the very older style of brokerages are, don't let the realty people anywhere near commercial. Just don't. There's a lot of truth to that, in the fact that they can tend to be very different skill sets depending on what type of commercial is being sold, bought, built, negotiated. It can be very different, right? But there is a large piece of it that I go, I never intended to be in this. I'm kind of one of those, we laugh because I'm like a lefty curve swing. So I'm just going to shoot something out there and ask them, hey, you interested in this or that or whatever. And it's some either big project or totally interesting, different thing or whatever. And then I just bring it back and go, okay, is this something, with the team that we want to do or not? Or what could we do to move this forward? Because I'm playing out in the front of collaboration between people and wanting to make sure we get really good teams together, really good style of people working together, right? Because you can ruin something if you have an amazing property, but somebody who is just incredibly difficult and they just do not want to, it's done, right? We need to be careful of, is this a good fit? Could it be a good fit if we just kind of coach and teach this person around? Or no, it's not. Or isn't this amazing? We're only going to play in this field, right? And then that becomes incredibly exciting and a good opportunity. How a lot of this started for me functionally was, I was sitting in a AT&T store in Estero, and a gentleman came up to me, and he was an older gentleman, and I won't say his name because he's here in town. And I was with my son, and he came walking up to me and said, oh gosh, is that fur on your boots? Because it was one of the days we could wear boots down here in Florida, and it was fake fluff, and he knew it, and he was just being whatever with me. Anyway, long story short, he really wanted to do business with my son and I. And I said, my son's in commercial real estate. Let me tell you all about him, and let me tell you all to the right. And he's graduated from college in that, and he's working for a great company doing amazingly well, right? And he's like, well, that's great, but I like the two of you together, right? So we did talk about a couple different projects over time and things like that, and it didn't work out. Every once in a while, he will call me and just say, I just want to network with you. He's from another brokerage. But he will call me and say, is there anything we can do together? Is there anything I can look for you for? Is that, right? And this was before I was really moving a lot into more of the commercial things. And I'm like, thank you very much. I don't know, And really, we, a lot of times, if we can and do, we'll work with our brokerage. We can't co-broke a listing, just because of air emissions and certain important safety things. However, if they have a seller and we have a buyer, of course, we're so happy to co-broke. If we can do carefully and get it approved a joint venture, perhaps, but those things we need to be careful of. Anyway, fast forward. Just 2 days ago, he calls me and he goes, "Is there just anything, Sherry? Like, I want to get back more into commercial. Do you have something? Can we, right?" And he says to me, as I told you in the description here, "Oh, I just can't stand realty people. I'm eXp Realty," and he knows it. And I just said to him, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about that. And this is why I'm going after this piece of business." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And I go, "There are so many commercial people who don't get that." And like, I'm sitting here and here's several of the different deals I've brought forward to our team this year, right? That we're working on and trying to get, and his mouth just dropped of like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, just us little realty people who you can't stand." And I had to just razz him and give him a hard time. These are the things, like, you can tell me, "Oh, you don't want to do business with me or whatever, but why do you keep calling me? Why have you called me for a year and a half? Why are you looking to see what I can do to help you out?" Now, I'm being a little sassy and we're both from the Midwest. Um, I would be happy to work with him. And I'm very, very courteous. And, we always have, little chats about the family and things like that. But there is value. And my point in the fishing and hunting of that was, here's an agent who's coming actively looking for me of what do I know or what can I find, right? When we're going to look at best practices, we're going to think about things like this might be so simple. The commercial people may or may not think of this, but you're at a wedding at a hotel in Miami, one particular I'm thinking about. And you know, commercial has a lot of off-market deals. So let's say I'm attending a wedding with my family and you just happen to hear someone say, "Yeah, it's off market right now, but they're considering selling this hotel." You need to be polite and professional and, be careful of what you're doing. But it would also be not well for that person if I didn't, at a bare minimum, come back to my own self if I was purely doing commercial, by myself, or at least to an EXP teammate to say, "Hey, I've heard this. Do you happen to know anybody?" Because it would solve their problem, right? The person that has the hotel, it's off market, which is okay, and they would like it sold, but they just can't put out a whole big thing because, they have venues booked and don't want people to hear they're selling. That would help them if I, as a realty person, had my head up about, "Oh, I should at least go get a conversation with one of our commercial people to see, do they have any awareness or do they know someone else that could do that?" These are the ways we are able to help more people, do more business, be more valuable if you would like to, instead of just completely missing the opportunity because you didn't see it. Right? So some of those things are good and important. I want to teach you a couple things, because if you're going to have anything to do with commercial, even if you're just referring, you cannot be clueless. We do have a responsibility, as all things within real estate, to educate ourselves, get some knowledge. The extent to which you need to have knowledge or networking depends on how deeply and how involved you want to work in the industry, right? But I will tell you, I'm talking as my realty novice, 2 years ago. We are very used to, on the on the realty side of, we have written contracts right up front all the time. So a listing contract that says, what are the terms of the employment? What is the payment situation? This is what we're doing, right? On commercial, they sometimes do, and they sometimes do not. So there is a very big style difference between the two types of real estate, for sure. There's commonalities that'll cross over, but you do need to understand, if you are realty and going to, have a revenue stream into commercial, sometimes they do not have it in writing, what they're doing, or we would say, are you representing the person or not, right? So you need to very first have an understanding about that. Somebody might say to you, "We have a direct to seller situation on this real estate commercial asset being sold. If you know anybody, realty person," right? Well, you might not think we know people, but because we network a lot, we may know somebody, okay? But then you need to be careful about, what is the agreement? Is that commercial person going to advise you? Do you need a mentor, right? Because I'm always going to say this, we are not a fly by the seat of our pants brokerage at all, nor should we, nor have we ever been, right? We are very serious about disclosures and the law and doing the right thing, as we should be, as we always will be. So those parts are important. So I just want to make sure you understand those pieces. You may need to ask more questions. You may need to have a little bit more detail. It's also why the commercial gets a little annoyed with the realty, right? Because we're like the little kid at the table of like, hey, how about this? Or I'm excited. How about you? And it's like, we will learn these things, right? And you learn how to work with the advisors that are good for you or not. But I want to teach you two terms because I think they're important. I learned them in my first year. They were critically important to me, and they really set the stage of kind of what I will and will not do when I work in commercial. So the very first thing I had to learn, and it isn't even necessarily only commercial, it is also global. And I'm going to say that carefully. So it is the word charlatan. Wherever you are in the globe, whether it's business or real estate, right? Or life, because, we have all kinds of things where people could unfortunately be taken advantage of. We need to look out for the charlatans. A charlatan is someone who is not real. A charlatan is somebody who presents themselves in a certain thing, says they have this opportunity or this money or this whatever, and they may or may not. Why I also bring up charlatans respectfully are there are parts in the world where you do not need a real estate license to sell real estate. I don't want to sound disparaging, but I, of course, am for and believe in a brokerage and licensing laws and things that require us to because it best protects the public, particularly the public when we are going international and may not know exactly the rules and how this works and those sorts of things. So you want to, when you are a realty person, be aware of the charlatan concept of, and I say it kind of facetiously, and now I'm going to teach it to you a little bit more nice, professionally businessy. People want to make sure I'm not a charlatan too. Absolutely. It takes a while. So the pace on commercial is much slower. Realty works weekends, right? So Friday's Monday, and what I have found is the realty protect their weekends, most of them. That feels a different thing. But as you are getting to know the person or the opportunity or them, myself, as we're kind of seeing, are you a charlatan? We're watching kind of how do you work with me? How do you treat me? Is the information sounding like what you said it was going to be? Can I do my due diligence? Which is true realty and commercial, but very important commercial. Did I do my due diligence on this thing, right? Is what they're saying to me correct? Is there anybody else with a listing, on a written agreement on this piece, exclusivity, or is it open? Those types of things are important for you to know. And so charlatan is your word. And the other word I'm going to teach you is daisy chain. I secondarily learned daisy chain. You may love a daisy chain. I do not. Here's what it is. And you decide for yourself. A daisy chain happens more often than on the commercial side than realty, where somebody might be aware of a little something and then they're referring you to somebody else who's referring you to somebody else who's referring you to somebody else. And there may be fees involved in between there. There may be contracts of referral agreements in between there. It is not a direct and exclusive from the buyer to the seller, let's say. You just need to understand that you need to ask and clarify the conditions or situation. Asking things like, not just, are you direct to the seller? You would ask things like, do you have an exclusive agreement with the seller? They may not, because they sometimes operate on a different capacity, but you need to understand it. You very much need to understand, are you the person that's going to connect me and my referral, or me and this buyer I'm bringing you directly to what we're doing? That's the piece that's important. Daisy chains are acceptable. They can happen. Some people are fine with them because they go, well, if it took two people to get me to what we really did for the client or for that seller, I'm okay with it. You just need to understand. I prefer much more I'm a relationship person. I am very much more, I don't want things confused between, what you said or thought or these 7 people or whatever. So for me, I choose not to, but that is something for you to learn and decide for yourself about. Today, I just wanted to help you look at our brokerages a little bit differently, particularly look at ways you can, if you would like to explore and learn and get to know some people, create another revenue stream for yourself. Like I said, I have spent the last over a year getting to know different commercial advisors in eXp. Just as residential, they have different styles, they have different procedures, they have different ways of working with people, and they have much more specialties than we do in residential. Like maybe I'm new construction, but in commercial, it is this and this and this, or just this one particular thing. So, an example would be, laugh if you want to. I have somebody who I am very aware of who buys RV parks, and she's very particular about them, really successful and whatever. And we had an eXp commercial agent with an RV park. And so I just pitched the lady who buys them of, is this something you're interested in? Da, da, da. Got a hold of the commercial agent and said, would you be okay if I gave you a referral to somebody? She was great. Yeah, absolutely, send it over, because we want the most exposure for our properties for our sellers, right? Or for our buyers to be able to have a good opportunity as well. So these things can all happen if we now realize this is something within care and rules and regulations you could look at as something maybe you're interested in. So I am somebody who is very happy to talk between and with eXp Realty, eXp Commercial. I am very happy for you to contact me, whether you'd like to hear more or join eXp Realty or Commercial. I am happy to help you find the right advisor for you. If you are needing something bought, sold, JV'd, built, any of those pieces. And this is the cool part. I have been able to have 3 very incredible people that are on the commercial side that I have access to, that I never would have before, that have taught me a lot, that I've also had to help them say, you, because of who you are and where you're at within your business and that kind of stuff, you probably don't want to be mentoring. You probably don't want all these people calling you because it's too much. But if you have somebody who is on the team that they're calling first to say, can I get a connection? Can I whatever, right? And we see, what is the project? What is the opportunity? And then the introduction goes to them. That's a pretty great thing for them. There are others, of course, of, let's say you're a big hitter and you would really like to be referred to join the team with one of our big hitters. I can help you do that, which is fun and exciting. So I just opened the door for all of global, around the world, for the public to sit and learn anything you'd like to about real estate and the things I put out on this channel. For people that are within our company to hear more opportunities. And remember, you're already global, you're already big. This is already what we're doing. Remember your resources. Or if you're with another brokerage and you're interested, or you're a business person or a seller, a buyer, an investor, give me a contact. Thank you so much for showing up today. And I hope it added value to you. And I hope it opened your mind about different opportunities and revenue streams for yourself. Thank you.